Hi everyone, my name is Jaymo Ule Msee. I'm a creator here in Kenya. I'm so happy to be surrounded by new creators in the game, courtesy of Wowzy. The reason why I'm really interested and I'm part of this program is because Wowzy has come to change the game and change the environment that creators operate in. Number one, they have come to professionalize the industry. The industry, when we started, guys, didn't have any professionalism. It was based on who do you know, who can you call, who can refer you. Sometimes even people had to how to do out of the world stuff. For example, even to get gigs. Sometimes people were manipulated. Sometimes people were used. Sometimes people were conned just because you want a gig somewhere, you want to get a gig. But Wowzy has come to professionalize the industry. That's number one. Number two, when you're starting creating content, there were no standards at all. So rate cards, you can be called for a gig, Patricia, then you quote 50,000. And then you're called for a gig, for example, and then you quote 100,000. So there were no standards of which people operate. So you can be called, given a contract where you're being 50,000, probably to do 10 pieces of content. Then somebody else will be called, then they are given a contract to do 30 pieces of content with the same amount or say less. So there were no standards. But now Wowzy what has come to do as a platform, they have established those standards that now you know if you want to do a video, if you want to post, if you want to create for a brand, at least there are standards under which people operate. Even the quality of content for creators. Kitambo ungepata msee ametuma content haifanani na ya huyu. So that establishing standards is really something very important that Wowzy has come to solve. The other thing, we didn't have a platform where creators' rights can be advocated for. But Wowzy, being a platform for creators in Africa, what it has done is that even when they engage with brands, even when they engage with the government and everyone, they are able because to aggregate what are the content creators saying, what are the challenges, what are the problems, what does the future looks like. And so our rights as creators are being, if you have seen even the president, you've seen him talking more about creator economy. There is now at least a very senior office in the office of the president for creator economy headed by Dennis Itumbi, for example. So there's a lot of the Wowzy is doing. And then finally, the reason why I'm bringing what they are doing is to see the challenges that we used to experience, is to establish a sustainable income model. So kitambo, you could do a gig, then probably you say 2 months is when you're getting a gig. 6 months is when you're getting a gig. But through the Wowzy platform, because they have networks of brands, they have networks of governments, they know what is happening tomorrow. Sometimes as creators, we don't have such kind of information. So they're able to establish and lock in brands that can provide sustainable income for creators. So when you're starting, ungepata tu job, utangoja tu simu, you have to know somebody. You start working hard to get business other than working hard to create content consistently. So this program, especially the Ubuntu program, I think it's coming at a timely place, and especially for a market like Uganda where they are still growing, 15,000 women being trained, it's going to be very impactful, not just in Uganda, but in Africa as a whole and the world as a whole. So yes, I'm also part of something at was called the Creator Council. So what the Creator Council, and you guys should also join soon in the future, is a council that give the content creators perspectives to the Wowzy platform and also to brands. So we are able to talk as creators because sometimes I know people have faced challenges, especially with the agencies where you're being given a gig. The person who is supposed to oversee what you're doing is not a creator. They don't understand what's supposed to be done. They are giving you pressure based on what the brand is telling them to do. And then for you, even when you have creative ideas, you don't even know how to bring them to life. So the Creator Council, and we want input from all ages of creators, all genders, is a platform where we are able to present as Wowzy to brands and also to Wowzy as creators, like, hey, this is what people are saying. This is what creators are saying. They are saying this can change. They are thinking we can introduce this system. And also that helps Wowzy to come up with sorry, it helps Wowzy to come up with creators first products when they put us first in everything that they do, because it's a content creators platform and they also want to give the best for the brands. So I know you guys probably you have new challenges, but I'll tell you in a nutshell that most of the challenges that really were pulling the industry down have been addressed by the Aussie platform. Yes, and I would like to hear some questions of what do you guys think probably we faced, where do you think how we are seeing the future from where we sit, and also how do you see yourself impacting also the next generation? Because you must put yourself as a creator, like not just you doing videos and doing content and getting gigs, you have to impact people in one way or another. Questions, opinions, comments? Yes, let me give you the mic.
So I have a question, and I think this is also something that we were discussing with one of your members from Wauzi, one of your creatives from Wauzi. Um, there's a particular place you reach as a creative. Say, for example, there's content that you're pushing and it's appealing to the masses, but you still don't understand how you're supposed to get these gigs. Like everyone else who is doing something, even the small creators are advertising for different brands, but you yourself, you have zero guidance on how to get these brands to approach you, or how you can because sometimes reaching out to them looks a little bit unprofessional, so you want them to notice you, and you don't want to go through middlemen or agencies. How would you advise somebody who is actually trying to get into that space where they can be able to create a purposeful brand, but at the same time they would like to get something in return?
It's a very valid question. For me, from where I sit, I said I've tried both models. So I've tried what I call the chase model. The chase model is what you're saying, where you think now you have everything covered, you have the content, now you should look for brands. And I'll tell you, it doesn't work. Because the reason why people come to you as audiences organic is because you're giving them something. So if you can really focus on giving your audience every day without thinking, how will I advertise? Because the exhaustion come when you start thinking as a creator, I need to pay bills, I need to make money. Or so and so has gotten a gig because you've seen their posting on their page. Then you stop focusing on you creating content. I always tell if you feel like you want to turn whatever you do as a business, you must be intentional and understand I want to turn it as a business. So it's passion, yes. Then I want to turn it as a business. So you'll ask yourself, what is it that I lack on the business side? Probably you are not a good business development person. You need to probably partner with someone to create that business. But for me, I always say, and what has worked for me, do what you do best. The brands will look for you. This is the difference. When you look for brands, you'll always get a bad rate because they can pick you're desperate. They can pick you need the money, so they tell you, oh, tuko na 50k, hiyo ndio budget iko. When they look for you to do something for them, you're able to say, hey, I charge X amount for to do that. And then you can negotiate. So you always have an upper hand. But when you're connected, when you're called for a gig, unaenda tu kuchukua. Na sometimes when you just take the money, it will not serve the purpose because it's not enough. So you'll start focusing, wacha nitafute the next one. When you go to look for the next one, you'll stop doing what you do. And that's why you see, even like for me, it has happened. You get to a point where you're exhausted. Then you're saying, when I get money, I'm going to get back to the game. So you see now your motivation changes from creating, from your purpose, from what was burning inside you. Now it has changed to, I want to look for money. Umeacha sasa kuhustle utafute pesa. They never go hand in hand, and they will never go hand in hand. But if you can focus, hey, tomorrow I want to do this. I want to do this. I'm telling you for a fact, your fans, most of your fans are business people. Most of your fans are business leaders. They'll say, I've seen the language or the way this person creates their content. I would like to plug in my brand. With that, you'll always win. Why? When you're called for that gig, you'll want to do the best for that person because they looked for you. Most of the times. You understand? So another person will see, hey, oh, that person did a very nice content for brand X, and brand X got a lot of impact. That's how you can grow and you can create a sustainable revenue model. Yeah.
Okay, in terms of course, when you create content, you have your target audience, of course. So I want you to tell someone outside there who is afraid of starting content because of cyberbullying, because there is cyberbullying online. So I want you to tell them, like to encourage them, how to deal with the cyberbullying in content creation.
Um, I think the first thing for me, what I found funny is this thing. I want to address hiyo swali yako ya audience. You cannot choose your audience on social media. You don't own the algorithm. What you can choose is the type of content that you want to share with people. Also, you should never assume that hii content yangu, that category of people are the one who like it. You'll be surprised. Like for me, when I started checking my insights, when I started, I saw there were 65-year-olds watching my content. I could not understand. But what we are failing to understand is that the stories of our great grandfather are the same. It's only what has changed is the setting. So before they would meet with their women during dances and in the forest where they are working. Right now, we go for movies, we go for restaurants and everything, but it's still meeting for the same thing. You understand? They used to move. There were locomotives before. They had their own ways of moving stuff. Now we have cars, we have Ubers, we have all those kind of things. So never ever get worried about creating an audience. The audience will find you with the quality content that you're checking. Number two, cyberbullying is you can never run away from it. But the good thing is at least the government has come with very good rules to protect people. But I'll tell you one thing, whatever comment you get is not coming from you. And there's a person who look at you, they don't like how you look like, they don't like how you speak. Probably you created a content that touched them emotionally, and probably they felt attacked. So they just want to respond. And I can give me, I've been bullied so many times. But what has made me still be resilient and don't care about it is because it's not me. Whatever you're writing, that's not me. I know it's hard, especially, somebody, especially for women, and I've seen it. Someone will attack your body, someone will say something very mean, someone will want to insult you because you're a woman and sexualize and also do all those kind of things. But I'll tell you, and I can tell you, stop. Sometimes when don't read the comments, they say you need to reply. When you start doing content, you see a bad comment, block and delete that comment. You understand? Set standards on your page on how people operate, because that's your business. That's what drives you. It's your passion. So I treat it as like a compound. You see, like when you can host people, but if somebody starts misbehaving here, what will we do? We tell them to leave. So even in your platform, that's why all platform you can block, you can ban. But even going forward, you need to develop skills of saying, I do this kind of business. This business will be attacked by haters. There are people who will not like what I do. And sometimes it's just ignoring. Of course, if you get threatening messages or comments or those things, you should report. Because very soon, even as we go to the election, you'll see a lot of people being charged because of doing hate speech and bullying people. So with the time, it will get better. But when you're doing content, you need to stop thinking about even what people think about what you're producing. Because you'll find the person giving a comment, they have never produced, they have never created. You are the creator. If si unajua hata even when God created the world, there are people who still said probably should have done this, probably should have done this. So even in your content, there's someone who will come there. Some people is envy, some people they want to bring down, some people are projecting their insecurities, all those kind of things. And for me, what I say is that I'm spiritualist, but I don't fear and I don't care about them. I only remove, if it's constructive criticism, take it. And sometimes also don't feel the need to engage, to reply, all those kind of things, because your engagement with the people was content. Probably you're not even good at doing community management work. So sometimes you just ignore and you just let it go. Yeah.
Okay, a question. I understand in this era there are so many young content creators, and most of them they are being told consistency, creativity, discipline, and they are doing all that, and it's not working out. Is there something you can tell them to like take advantage of in this era that will make them maybe flourish in this industry?
That's a very interesting question. You see, it is working out. It's only what most people want is you want many views. So you don't want their 1,000 views, you want 1,000,000 views. And your community is those 1,000 views. And even as a nano influencer, you can actually make a lot of money, sometimes even more than the person getting the 1 million views. Because if you can give the brand the 1,000 views that you get, if you're able to convert even 200 people, 20% of those people to a certain business, you'll make more money than even the person who his video probably got 1 million or 2 million views. So people need to understand, a long time before, probably you had 6 M-Pesa shops in CBD. Right now, if you go to the CBD, you have probably thousands of M-Pesa shops, and people are still making money even. So when the pool becomes bigger, there's something Mike said here when he was here. He said about authenticity. So what makes you stands out is what will define how you will grow. But it's not about the number of views, the number of engagement or likes. And also, most of the times when you start looking at that, what happens is you start creating content that does not align with you. Why? Because now you want to pull from the people. So you want to put something. That's why probably when you do your content, you dress well. Then you think, tomorrow if I dress like this, I know a lot of guys will come. So you see, people have come to your content, not because of the authenticity of your content, but we come to see you naked. So I can say stop worrying about people telling you that consistency and creativity you're being told. That's the only trick in the game. Yes, and you should not worry how many people are watching. If you have 2 people, already you are addressing 2. Those 2, like I've said before, will bring you to 2,000, 100,000, 500,000. Yeah.
I know you've worked with different kind of individuals from editors, creators, or even digital marketers. There are so many people outside there who are afraid. They want to join the digital world, but they don't want to appear on camera. So, like, what kind of advice you can give those kind of people?
First of all, is to appreciate them because most people don't know the challenges of being before this camera. Sometimes it can be a blessing and sometimes it can be a curse. That's why Wowzy has come people to train people that before you get famous, before you get popular, you need to learn certain skills, even life skills, so that once this fame comes, once this success comes, you're able to manage it and keep it. So for those, there are a lot of opportunities on the back end. Actually, you'll be surprised to know that a lot of people make more money than the creators before the camera. They just need to be good. And for example, for me, I've had a challenge before working with unajua editors, watu wa kuedit ni nini. What I challenge most creators is sometimes just know to do some of these things. They are very simple. You can't say you are tech savvy, you are doing, you're operating the digital environment and you can't edit your video, you can't shoot it. Because sometimes you'll find people who can even frustrate you. Unaweza kuwa umesema mna shoot kesho na mtu, tomorrow that person amezima simu. What will you do? And you have the content that you want to create. So part of the liberation that you can do as a content creator, you can see the guy here who's recording is just one person. Okay? Is actually getting a team of people who are aligned to the vision. And anytime you see somebody is not aligned and you try, please let them go. Part ways. Because sometimes people will bring you down. Because unafikiria tunaenda pamoja, but huo mtu hata afikirii hiyo kitu mnaenda wapi. So to answer your question, there are a lot of opportunities for people who don't need to be hapa kwa camera. Hapa hata kile kunafaa kuwa na watu kidogo. Most of the work for creating happens before. Because even if you have a concept, you have to write it. If you have a producer, you have to discuss tuta execute aje. That's where you make it. Hapo ndio unapanga kupika kabla hata mwashe moto. Ndio hapa ikiashwa, it just flows. So sometimes also aligning and sometimes also fixing yourself, saying, right now, there are times I remember I was doing a campaign then for an alcoholic brand, and somebody failed to turn up while we are supposed to shoot, and we are with the client, and I shot with a phone. Kwanza, I'm the one who shot some of the parts of the where mahali niko napatia msee anashika simu. That video actually did well than even some other videos that I've shot professionally. So that's not to encourage being unprofessional, but I'm saying if you're a creator, always sometimes overcome the limitations just by using what you have. Sometimes unasikia watu wakisema nataka nibaki by camera nini nini. There is nothing that is created by the camera. It's created here. If you have it here, whatever means you have, whatever mode, that's why you're saying like Wauzi wanasema they are giving out the kits. Simple kits to start. Because with that you can even make a movie. So for us as creators, the way we think that with our imaginations is the same way that we should have imaginations also of overcoming the limitations. And some of them ni si ujiwekea. If you have a phone, you don't even, sometimes we even have smartphones that you can clean the voice using some apps. So never limit yourself to produce na usishikiliwe na watu, because sometimes if people don't understand your vision, you still have to move. Yeah.
Since you've been in this industry for a long time, I want you to tell someone outside there what it takes to be a like what it takes to build a brand like Jaymo Ule Msee as a brand.
One thing is for me is when I understood that first of all I have a calling. Then I said I worked so hard. Even today, I'm still working to align that with the purpose of why I was creating. There are so many things that people want to do to create a brand. One of the things that they want to use is a shortcut called cloud chasing, na kufikiria ukifanya hivyo watu wakikujua sasa umekuwa brand. A brand is built organically in people's brain. It's like programming. So that even if you disappear for 3 years and still pull up, people will say, I know that person. That is Lynn, and now she's doing something else. So if you want to build a brand, I will go back to what you had said. That consistency is what build a brand. Safaricom tumeijua sana because we have never missed to make a phone call. Okay? When the internet came, they gave us bundles. They gave us M-Pesa. So they keep innovating. They keep bringing new products. Same with your brand. You need to keep evolving. You need to know how do I leverage? Because what you are doing in 2015 is not what you guys are doing now. So myself as a creator, the question is, do I copy you guys or do I think creatively? How do I leverage and push my brand to the next level? How do you push it to the next level? By probably creating a new product or reinventing a product that I had before. And then I go back to the same thing of consistency. And for example, you've seen I've been here doing the podcast, Road Disruption. Tomorrow, if I don't do episode like for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, the brand, the value will go down. But if I keep producing, irrespective, sometimes we want to produce what we think is popular. Ile video ilikuwa poa, hii ingine haikuperform, hii ingine unasema haikuperform, hao watu 20,000 wameona, kwani hizi ni watu? You are being impressed more by the one that did 1 million. So you might think, let me start aligning my content towards that direction. That's how you'll fail. So it's consistency, new ideas every time. Give people something. A hotel, a brand is known because they keep the hotel open. So people keep booking, people keep coming to it, people come to have meetings and all those kind of things. But the moment you close it, your brand will not grow. You'll always experience challenges. Just like a hotel, kuna time watu wanasema food haiko na chumvi na nini na nini. How do you overcome those challenges from a content perspective? So I didn't have a quality camera. Do you reinvest what you get also to get something else to give better content? You understand? If you don't understand business, sahi unaweza ingia online learn how influencer business is working, some of those things, so that even when you go to sit in meetings, you understand what is happening. So there's also a self challenge into growing to build that brand. Also, how do you detach the brand from your personal life? Because that's the biggest challenge also that many people are facing. So that you can continue to live a normal life, even if you are famous outside there. Sometimes as creators, we are not able to disconnect both. And that's also that results to a lot of very, very many problems, lifestyle, mental health, financial, hizo vitu zote. So you need to always know, hey, I've started this thing. So what do I need? So you have to keep learning. You have to keep checking what are the global trends. You have to know where people are going, not necessarily to follow them, but actually to align your content and know this is what I want to consistently produce this. Yes.
Okay. I understand as a creator, there's so many things that go into it. So like the shoots, the editing, you being able to like work maybe more hours than the normal people do. So what do you do to like balance between now your content creation life and now your personal life? Or even if you have another job, how do you tend to like balance all of them?
That's a very good question. When I started to create content, I was a product analyst working in a media house. I was working in NMG and I was still produce on Sundays. When I started Jaymo Ule Msee in 2015, I was working in a marketing agency. I would produce on Sundays, get the video edited to upload every Monday. Lazima tungeserve watu video. So there's an element of sacrifice if you want to build something different. But that element of sacrifice will come with you accepting that probably you have to also disappoint people that you used to hang around with a lot of times, because now you're creating, you're sleeping late, and sometimes it's painful. You have to grieve, but lazima uweke mizigo zingine chini, and you have to sacrifice until it stabilizes that now you can, it's plug and play. The first journey is those of sleepless nights, sacrificing. Sometimes watu wakienda out itabidi usiende juu kesho wewe ukienda utalala, utaproduce na labda hao hawaproducingi content, so what you do will go down. So once you realize, hey, niko na hii talent and I want to build a brand, you must work like the top CEOs of companies. For example, I would say I learned even from Mike. Like I can see the guy is working. You mumeenda kuhang out kwa laptop. Yeah? Mmeenda kuhang out, ametoa laptop, mlikuwa mnaongea, amenyamaza, ametoa simu, and then he'll work. Then you see, and then you learn one or two things. So it's actually self-sacrifice. There is no balance. Hii kitu watu, unajua mzungu ametuuzia vitu fulani, and I'm not sikashi via work-life balance. If you want to create that life balance, you must work more when you're starting, so that later you can have a life balance. Otherwise, if you try to balance, itakifika hapa mahali sasa utakuwa na hiyo balance, because life inakukimbiza and probably there's no work. So especially when like right now you guys can sacrifice a lot. You can create more. Unaweza shoot hata siku mbili back to forth. But of course even for us the temptation was unataka bado life ishike na unataka bado produce. They never go hand in hand. Of course we are not saying you should not have fun, but you have to sacrifice for you to make that brand to work. Yeah. So yes, thank you so much. Your closing remarks. Let me just sit here. So yes, that was us discussing the journey of becoming a content creator, the challenges, the opportunities, and of course we are so excited for the program that is starting in Uganda, the Ubuntu program, to train 15,000 women content creators in Uganda, so that we can put Uganda on the global map, especially on matters content, and of course uplift millions of women across the globe. By 15,000, the trickle down effect will be felt by generations to come. And I'm so happy to have been joined by these gorgeous ladies who are budding and great content creators. Of course, you'll be seeing them in Uganda also sharing their stories, and more so telling people that the journey, once you start it, the best thing that you can do is to keep going and usitoke kwa njia. Thank you so much.